want no cowards in our camp, while the let their colors fly.
I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you.
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we start that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
Comes with all your dishes, pots, and sports knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment room and a hotel room. You know what I mean? Yeah. This here right here is about to be holy ground. It's going to be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My camp undefeated. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grades. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck. You can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud. Straight up out the base.
Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The week of Passover is packed with exciting events, hosted by the I.S.U.P.K. and Commanding General YAHANNA. On Tuesday, a deep-sea fishing trip with the generals. Arrival and boarding time at 7:30 a.m. The boat leaves at 8 a.m. sharp. Then on Wednesday, April 13th, join us for the annual lamb slaughter from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., making sure the children of Israel have fresh lamb for the Passover. Then, after that, the I.S.U.P.K. is having a fish fry from 4 p.m. until, which would lead to the scripture breakdown class with General Mahima. Then, on Thursday morning, Hebrew Academy participants will see if they have what it takes to endure the Hebrew Academy trials. Commanding General YAHANNA has something special lined up for the children with a children's party from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Come join Commanding General YAHANNA on Cocoa Beach as we renew our oath unto the Lord.
Because he's supposed to understand the power of the Most High that would destroy him and will destroy him. Real soon. Read. That assuredly, knowing unto what oaths they had given credence, they might afterward be of good cheer. You hear that? They was of good cheer, gave an oath with the Lord as one, and became of good cheer while tens of thousands of Egyptians died. I know y'all don't like to talk about this, but you better put this war spirit back in you, Israel. You better get that spirit back in you, man. You better get that spirit of warfare back in you, because the Lord will put blood on the streets of America and around this world, brother.
Followed by a hotel ballroom, all black and Hebrew Academy dinner from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. And then on Friday, April 15th at 5 p.m., join us for the Lord's annual Passover as commanded in the scriptures at 5 p.m. sharp. On Saturday, April 16th, the Feast of Unleavened Bread That's right, we're going to keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Commanding General YAHANNA has it all lined up for you, Israel. Come keep the Lord's Passover. Shalom.
Take a second, we reflecting with the life, but this the life, I fucking love it. Wouldn't trade it to be white, now that's alright. I got to write it first, the devil's redefining worth.
Someday you'll pay the price.
No, I don't break a fold, I need and bake the dough, then recreate the flow. They think they making dough, what they forsake is so essential. Over lentils, get your issue, guess who's on this instrumental with you? Gives a damn if we was family, view one red and call it spam. I'm not a fan of Antichrist, they slayed the man, I swayed the Tim. Like here I am, the son of Sam is taking shots at David Berkowitz. Pussy.
Someday you'll pay the price.
A different discipline existed than this New York state of mind. Say since now, no, not the actor, but the year he's effort. Not one thing in mind to grind until this gavel turns his words to mirth from Babel.
Live, sir.
All right, no, so stop it up. All right, Yabshin Shabakathum, Yahal Shamatan, but Shamyan Shai, Salaki on the delay. All right, tonight we're definitely gonna go more into as we said, Ukraine and Ukraine and Russia, the history of it. What's up, Ab? Please.
For the class.
Say again?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're good with that. You'll be with me, huh? All right, so what we have? Any questions?
It's like, sir, he's live now, sir.
Say again?
He's live now.
All right, two water.
It's like, you want this camera for this one back?
I don't know what it looked like right now. How would it look? I would look on your I could check it. It's kind of far. I want that shit set up how you have it set up on Tuesdays. I think that's the best look, to be honest with you. Boy, all over the place right now.
So I do have a question.
No sweat. I think Pagaiba wanted something before you, right? Pagaiba.
Yeah, concert.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I may.
Yeah.
I forgot the spirit that was.
Is that lens clean? You wipe the lens before you put it up?
Concert.
All right, no sweat. Go ahead, Pagaiba.
Yeah, concert. I don't know. I forgot what spirit was put on the man that told the man of God to come into the house and break bread. That the man that he didn't follow the orders, and then he ended up getting ripped up by the lion. I forgot what spirit was on the man that told him to come into my house and break bread with me.
Say that again. You forgot what spirit that told him what?
What the spirit was, who the spirit is, either the Most High or Satan. Mm-hmm. Which spirit was inside of the man that told the man of the Lord, come to my house and break bread with me?
You have the scripture for that?
It's 1 Kings 13.
Please, let me hear them.
13 verse.
Hey, do me a favor, right? Somebody just check that. Those of you who watching it tonight, Commander YAHANNA doing an exclusive with Sarnetta. You can check it out. It's on Black Watch News on YouTube. Black Watch News on YouTube. You can go across and check it out. You can always check this class out later. But somebody just check that Black Watch News and see if the audio is coming through. Does it sound echoey or effed up? No, it's too wild. No sound, guys. All right. So
verse. Yeah, I'm at verse 21.
All right, tell me where we at, Salakia, and rephrase the question, Salakia, brother. I was a little bit distracted with that just now. All right, y'all, just bear with me for tonight.
Okay, sir. I forgot. You explained this before. I just forgot the spirit that was on the man that told the man of the Lord to come to my house and break bread with me.
You said it's 1 Kings?
Yeah.
Let me hear it, all
right? 1 Kings chapter 13, and I'll start at verse 18. He said unto him, I am a prophet also as thou art. And an angel spake unto me by the word of the Lord, saying, bring him back with thee into thine house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied unto him. Verse 19.
Is it 1 Kings 1?
1 Kings chapter 13. And let's start at verse 18.
Okay. 1 Kings 9. Say it again.
Chapter 13. I started at verse 18.
18. Solid. Let's go. Let's go. To water.
Verse 19. So he went back with him and did eat bread in his house and drank water. Verse 20. And it came to pass, as they sat at the table, that the word of the Lord came unto the prophet that brought him back. That answers my question, sir.
Give me one more. Salaki. I apologize. I apologize. Salaki. Y'all go get more men, man. Salaki. Okay. All right. I think I'm with you. No. I'm here. All right. Okay. 1 Kings 13:18, right? All right, let's go.
1 Kings chapter 13, verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
He said unto him, I am a prophet also as thou art. And an angel spake unto me by the word of the Lord, saying, bring him back with thee into thine house, that he may eat bread and drink water.
Mm-hmm.
But he lied unto him. Verse 19. So he went back with him and did eat bread in his house and drank water. Verse 20. And it came to pass, as they sat at the table, that the word of the Lord came unto the prophet that brought him back. Verse 21. And he cried unto the man of God that came from Judah, saying, thus saith the Lord, for as much as thou hast disobeyed the mouth of the Lord, and hast not kept the commandment which the Lord thy God commanded thee. Verse 22. But camest back and has eaten bread and drunk water in the place of the which the Lord did say to thee, eat no bread and drink no water. Thy carcass shall not come unto any sepulchre of thy fathers. Verse 23.
Okay, I might need some help with this one. Okay, and what was your question on it?
The man that told the man of God.
So one was an angel and one was a prophet, right? If that's what I'm getting from it here.
If I could, so in this passage, the prophet was told to go to this city and prophesy against the people of the city,
but not to eat. Right, I get that part.
Stay and leave. And then as he was leaving, another man came to him and said, "I'm a prophet also. You can come back."
But he lied. Okay, I believe that was an angel, right?
Lie, sir. That wasn't an angel. That was a man.
Okay, read 18 again.
Verse 18. And he said unto him, I am a prophet also as thou art. And an angel spake unto me by the word of the Lord, saying, bring him back with thee into thine house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied unto him.
Okay, I think I understand what's going on. Okay, let me ask you, General, this one, right? Because this was definitely this brother's test, right? This was his test, but of course, because the second man said, an angel told me to tell you, do this. He followed through with it, and you asking, like, was he right or wrong for it?
Sir.
Go ahead.
I was asking what spirit was on that man that lied to the man of God.
A lying spirit. That's in the Bible. It's a lying spirit. But now this part here, I'm definitely need to. It's not in my memory of it. I'm gonna need to read back and ahead of it to see exactly how. Okay, it seemed like the Lord was angry with him for doing this. Hold on. Wait, 21. Read 21.
Verse 21. And he cried unto the man of God that came from Judah, saying, thus saith the Lord, for as much as thou hast disobeyed the mouth of the Lord, and hast not kept the commandment which the Lord thy God commanded thee, verse 22, but camest back and hast eaten bread and drunk water in the place of the which the Lord did say to thee, eat no bread and drink no water. Thy carcass shall not come into the sepulchre of thy fathers.
Yeah. Right. He was definitely supposed to obey the first part. That second part there, might find out from the general exactly. Was this a test? There's some reason I'm thinking it's an angel that did it, because that was very specific. You understand? Like, imagine I tell you, go to Nevada and find the second 7-Eleven there and only buy it there. And then somebody comes to you and said, I could take you to the third one. That's not coincidental that they say the third one and not another store, but a third 7-Eleven in Nevada. You get the point? So that's why I'm not sure if this is an angel coming to him for a test. All right, I could find on that tomorrow. I hope tomorrow. I'm sure the general teaching tomorrow, whoever might be teaching, right? I'm finding from the general exactly this part here. It's not in my memory. I'm going to read up some more. But, what you should take away from this is follow your goddamn orders. And that's that. You get the point? Follow your orders, and that's that. All right. Make me want to read on with this here, too. Anything else from anybody?
I can't remember, but you had another question you had before that. And I'm asking because I wanted to know.
So if he remembers it, you remember it now? No, so if you remember it, just say it, all right? All right, why, do you have something? Let's go.
I heard man Junior Hunter say something more about it briefly, but if I get a small breakdown on where does Saudi Arabia play in to what's happening right now.
Okay, I'm gonna go into that too with Ezekiel. All right, Ezekiel the 30th briefly. Do you remember exactly what he said? I don't want to misquote him. You know what I mean?
I don't.
No sweat. Go ahead.
There's some questions online.
No sweat. Go ahead.
Selection, if I may. I'm just going to give a quick breakdown. Precepts. I lost my precepts for Dan being absorbed into Manasseh. I know that's what happened to him, but if I could, just some precepts on that, Bob, for sure.
What we want? Something leap from Bashan. Leopard leap from Bashan. Somebody leaping from Bashan. I believe that's what you want.
Deuteronomy 33 and 22. Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 22. And of Dan, he said, Dan is a lion's whelp. He shall leap from Bashan.
Trying to get some more. Leap from Bashan. Hold on. I hold that. Hold Dan leaping from Bashan. I think somebody look up Bashan as well. I think Bashan is in Manasseh's land. Look up Bashan. What's it? Where we at? Deuteronomy 33 and 22. All right. So just give me Genesis 49 and wherever Dan is. 12 or 13, somewhere around there.
Genesis chapter 49, verse 16. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel.
Right. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. That's the key for the future prophecy of Dan. He will judge his people as one of the tribes. It's saying it like that because he already is one of the tribes. It's like me saying, you will rule this place as the president. You're not the president, but when it's time for you to rule, you'll be as him. Dan will judge Israel as one of the tribes. He'll be in the tribes. All right, go ahead.
Verse 17. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path.
Right. Dan will be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path. By the way, meaning around in the vicinity, you're not going to see him. Just like a serpent, right? By the way, an adder in the path, an adder is a snake. Go ahead.
Is this the scripture where the Christians say that the Antichrist will come out of the tribe of Dan?
I've never heard that before.
A lot of Christians teach that the Antichrist is going to come out of the tribe of Dan. So
I've never heard that. Salakia. I've never ever heard that shit before, ever. Like TD Jakes teaches that?
It's like mainly like Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventists, them weirdos.
Okay. I've never heard that. Salakia. Salakia. Damn. That's a wild one right there. Yeah, I've never heard that. Salakia. I can't comment on that shit, but I know it wrong. All right. Either by the way, right? In the path, not in the path where you'll see him, but he's there. You just can't see him. Go ahead.
That biteth the horse heels, so that his rider shall fall backward.
Right, that biteth the horse heels, so that the rider fall backwards, meaning the horse is moving along the path. There's a snake there. The horse doesn't see the snake until late. The rider falls backwards. Why?
Because the horse is in pain. They stand up on their hind legs.
The snake startles the horse. He raises up and throws the rider off. That's how Dan would be. Dan would be there, but he ain't there. You ain't seeing him. You don't know why the horse is doing this thing, but it's because of him. You get the point? Any more? That's it. Let's flick that light behind you, Pagai boy. Not that one. That's at the side of you. That one is behind you. Right? Hit the one behind you. No. You got it. You got it out. All right. So that's for Dan, right? Now give me Deuteronomy 33 again.
Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 22. And of Dan, he said, Dan is a lion's whelp. He shall leap from Bashan.
Dan, he'll be a lion's whelp. What is a lion's whelp?
A young lion.
A young lion, right? A young lion full of energy, full of youth, full of zeal, and he will leap from Bashan, right? So that's your key right there. Where is Bashan?
Bashan, from Wikipedia, is the ancient biblical name used for the northernmost region of the Transjordan during the Iron Age. It is situated in modern-day Syria. Its western part, nowadays known as the Golan Heights, was captured by Israel during the 1967 Six-Day War and annexed in 1981.
Okay, that's okay. That's not what I would want. The reference for the location, I think, is accurate. It's a territory in the Jordan area. Yes, sir.
Along with the half of Gilead, it was given to the half tribe of Manasseh.
Right. Bashan was territory of Bashan was given to Manasseh. All right. Where you getting that from? The Hebrew?
It's right here in I just pulled it up, but it gives a reference to Joshua 13 and 29, sir.
Okay, let me hear that part.
Joshua chapter 13, verse 29. And Moses gave inheritance unto the half tribe of Manasseh. And this was the possession of the half tribe of the children of Manasseh by their families.
Right, that's a good one. Wait, you say that one is?
Joshua 13 and 29. Sir.
Joshua 13, 29. So put that with your Deuteronomy 33. All right.
Also some more, sir.
All right. Anybody had the big Bible dictionary?
No, sir.
Ain't no sweat. All right, go ahead.
Verse 30. And their coast was from Manahaim, all Bashan, all the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, and all the towns of Jair, which are in Bashan, 80 cities.
Now that part is kind of irrelevant. The part you want is Manasseh's land. Right. Say where it is again.
Joshua 13 and 29, sir.
Joshua 13 and 29. And the other one is Deuteronomy 33 and 22. Deuteronomy 33, 22. All right. So that's what you want. You could also look up Bashan in the Hebrew. It tells you the same thing as part is around that upper region of Jordan, the Jordan River or the Jordan territory. And it was given to Manasseh. Right. Dan will be a lion's whelp that would leap from Bashan, meaning he'll be coming out of Manasseh. Right. Don't think of it like how the Christians do, which is literal. The Christians would say, what's a literal example they have? The mark in your forehead. And they think it's a literal mark.
Right.
Not knowing that's how Israel talks. How we talk is, if somebody say, what's a good one? Sports, right? Okay. Basketball, football, whatever. You get assigned a player to what? To guard. Do you all say guard? You ever heard the phrase mark that man in sports? You check him? Yeah. Okay, maybe it's just terminology. For sure, in the islands, you say you're a man marker. Or that's your man. You have to mark him. You have different types of defense in sports. You have zone defense, and you have man-to-man. Right. But the man-to-man is the old way of saying it. I would say old. You say you marking him. You, even when they show you it on the board, the X is you and the O is him, or vice versa. Right. And you mark him. I want you here. You mark in this space. It's just how we talk. But, literal people would think it's literally a mark. Like you had to go and write something on this fool. It's not that. Right. Similar to here. When you say Dan will leap from Bashan, it's not saying that right now in the middle of Syria somewhere is the tribe of Bashan, which is how Jewish people think, the Christians think, fake Israelites think. But this is saying from Manasseh. It's like me saying Christ would come out as, the middle of Martin Luther King Boulevard. What am I saying?
Christ is coming out of niggas.
Out of the ghetto. Right, you get the point? He's coming from the ghetto. Right. Now, a white man will go and mark the middle of the exact middle of Martin Luther King Boulevard and say Christ come in here, wait y'all, and start a whole religion. You get the point? It's just how we talk. So when he say a lion, he's gonna be like a young lion that leaping from Manasseh. Dan is in the tribe of Manasseh. You understand? He's under the umbrella of Manasseh. What happened? What's a good explanation for it? Is that your tribe comes from sons, and Dan would have started having less and less sons. Okay, you would have a family, a man and a woman with children. Then you would have, they would make children. Eventually, his family would grow so big you could consider it a tribe. Right? A tribe then grows so big you consider it a nation. Dan got so small he could not be considered a tribe anymore. But he is in Manasseh. Manasseh pulled him in under his umbrella. It's like that. You get the point? He was absorbed into Manasseh. He started having less daughters than sons. And now he can't be a tribe no more because who's the tribe? 10 of y'all? No, you just come up under here. Come up under here. That's just the normal way to do things. Like, you know, you have brothers and sisters. The oldest one, the young ones had to go with him. You get the point? They ain't big enough to be on their own. Just think like that. That's a good explanation if you had explained it to somebody of what happened. But Dan is part of Manasseh today. All right? He's not disappeared. He ain't erased. He's just not big enough to be a tribe himself. And that's just that. It's not a punishment. It's not anything like that. This is how the Lord just wanted it. You get it? I think that's it. I'm trying to remember if there's any more for that. I think that's basically it. All right. All right. Let me get a little bit of this Ukraine shit, all right, before I get to the questions. Just a little bit. It's a few corrections from last week when I was giving you all Vlad, which was one of Salak. I had to write this shit down. I ain't write notes in about 10 years. Okay, Vlad was one of Sviatoslav's sons. All right, Sviatoslav. Let's back it up. Anybody remember anything from the breakdown last week? The history of Russia. Let me hear.
Okay, so I remember that Svogel's, I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
It's like Volgograd or Svogel's War or something like that is where the Scandinavian or what you call the Viking people came from, and how they after the time passed, after the succession, basically they had to war with after the Great Schism, they had to go to war with Asians. I remember it.
I got it. I think the names was tripping up. Come on.
All I remember is like King Oleg.
Mm-hmm.
Oleg. He was the first one to start conquering. He went a little bit east of the Viking territory, and then I think it was his next son down that the father of Vlad that conquered a little further down, and he was the one that created the Kavian Roost. They called it the Kavian Roost, and from there, his sons started warring over it.
That's pretty much it. Like, okay, from around 800, you had the Peshnieks or something like that they were called. Those were Vikings, right? Also, Viking mean pirate, sea pirate. It has nothing to do with 6 kings or nothing like that. That's just bullshit that people see on the internet. Come on.
So I got from the notes last week. Vlad the Impaler.
Okay, that's not Vlad the Impaler. That's the correction. Vlad the Impaler came around the 14th or the 15th century. I think Vlad is from one of their lines, but he was around the time with the Ottoman Empire, which also was warring with that whole Russian estate later on. But this is another Vlad. Certain names you'll see repeating. Like there's 2 Olegs in this damn lineage, which is that's what I found. I couldn't figure out where the hell the next Oleg came from. But there's 2 Olegs in this lineage. That Vlad his name is just Vladimir. The other one, Vlad the Impaler or Vladimir, he came later on, like 400 and 500 years later. All right. So you have the Vikings coming east and south to do more trade. eventually took over Kiev or whichever is the regions, right? They had a few regions they took over first. One was in the north, Smolensk. The other one was Novgorod. Novgorod is very important to remember. All right. From there, they had his name was Rurik. Rurik was the one who founded that shit. Then he went down and took Kiev, right? He took Kiev and made them 3 areas, like a tri-state area called the Kievan Rus, which is what you were saying, right? Rurik died and had a son called Oleg, right? No, Salakia. He passed the throne to Oleg. Oleg was not his son. Rurik's son was Igor. Igor was very young at the time. And Oleg, they say he's a relative. He was his near kinsman. Hold on, I'm gonna make sure I ain't messing you all up. Salakia. Right? Right, he gave it to Oleg. Rurik's son was Igor. He was very, very young at the time. Oleg grew him up. When Igor became of age, Igor married some broad named Olga, and his oldest son was Sviatoslav. That's where Sviatoslav comes from, right? Sviatoslav is the one who had the 3 sons that broke up the kingdom damn near, right? Broke up that Kievan Rus. Remember, I told you he had sons and they had a sibling war. It's called, hold on, fratricidal war, right? Like from fraternity. Like fraternity is the male part of the, them gay groups, and the sorority is the female. So that root word frater or fraternal twins or fraternal this is of the siblings. So when you have a war, when the siblings fighting, how they call it sibling rivalry, but on that big scale, it's called a fratricidal war, right? Not civil rivalry anymore because they're so big and powerful, right? Igor's sons, Igor had Sviatoslav. Sviatoslav had several children, but the 3 main ones was one called Yaropolk, Oleg, and Vladimir. Yaropolk controlled Kiev. Oleg controlled somewhere in the middle by Smolensk, and Vladimir controlled Novgorod. Yaropolk killed Oleg. Somebody killed Oleg, but I think it's Yaropolk killed Oleg. He wanted to start to take over more. Vladimir ran north more. That's what I was telling you last week, you remember? He went and got more Vikings, more mercenaries who was skilled at war, just rampaging. And then he came back with those men, killed Yaropolk, took over everything, and that's how he started now to move. He made the alliances with Constantinople. From him, I think he died later. He had another son. Forget the son's name. But as you go on more and more in their history, it's more of the same. Sons fighting, killing each other, taking territory, breaking apart. Taking territory, breaking apart. Now, where does religion come into this thing here? Who remembers?
Because was it Poland right next to them? They were Catholic.
Poland was Catholic because of what? What was the reason Poland was Catholic? Oh, damn.
The neighbor was. I can't remember who.
Okay. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Was it because of the Roman Empire?
Because of the Roman Empire, because of Rome, right? Shalom. Right? They was Catholic because of Rome. Then there was, of course, what you would call the Great Schism, where it started there, where Western Rome separated from Eastern Rome or Constantinople, the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantine Empire kept the Orthodox Christian faith, and that's why you have all those images today in Russia, which was part of the Eastern Empire, of being black with the Russian icon. Somebody grab that book up there for me too, if you don't mind. Somebody who know where it is, grab it carefully. Don't throw anything down. All right. You could pull up that picture with Putin. He's somewhere, I forget. I don't think it's the Kremlin. Somewhere with the black icons on the back of him. Right. That's because from the days of that Great Schism, that's when that eastern part of Europe stayed with the traditional Christian theology, or what they call traditional. It's not the truth. Yeah, it's not the truth. Not just because they have the icons black and Mary black and Christ black mean they have the truth. It's not the truth, but it's the more traditional images, traditional teachings of Christendom. They call them Orthodox Christian. The western side stayed Catholic, and Poland was part of that western side. You get the point? As they continue to fight wars, of course, not Vladimir. I think it's one of his offspring who made the alliance with the Byzantine Empire. Hold on.
I think General could come out.
God damn!
I gave it to him.
All right. And remind me to give you all a form called a yeah, there's a logout form for that shit. I trust you all in here a little bit too much, bro. Shit walking out and I don't know where the hell it is. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. I told you to give it to him.
You wrapped it up real good and you told me to hand it to him very specific.
No, because I don't rap shit good ever. I don't rap shit good ever. I'm the most horrible gift giver in the world. I'll leave the price on the bitch if you leave it up to me. Now I know you're bullshit. I know you're bullshit. You sure it's not here? Okay.
I remember that.
I wrapped it and give it to him?
Yeah, after he said it, I remember it happening.
That I wrapped it.
Because he was real specific on how he handled the book.
Y'all fucking listen.
That's a lie.
You're lying about this shit here. You're lying on me here because y'all have witnesses. You're planning this shit, huh? Anyway, moving on. I'll put all them books in a trunk next to something else. Go wrap it then. Go ahead. You have the pictures up? All right. So hold on, right? Let me get some more. Who made the alliance with Constantinople?
I believe it was
okay, I think it's Vlad. Okay, no, Vladimir had 3 sons. Byzantine Empire. No, Vlad is the one, right? Vlad came back down, made the alliance with the Emperor Constantinople, married his daughter in exchange for letting Christianity become the main religion in Russia. Right. Meaning Vlad had to give up, what's the nigga name? Odin. Salakia. Odin and Thor and all the Norse gods. He had to give that shit up and let Christianity rule, which he did. And that was a major alliance because now he had more power, more man. He could take further in the east. He could push back the Asians who was making a play through the Khazarian Empire at the time. But at that time, that wasn't the full Asian strength. Those were just scouts in that land. The bigger threat would come later through the Mongolian Empire. One of them Khans. One of Genghis Khan's sons, Odieg or Odineg, look it up. One of Genghis Khan's sons, I believe, is the one who really led the onslaught west. Right? Go ahead.
Kublai Khan.
Maybe one of his sons. Look up Kublai Khan's sons. Well, it's one of them Khans. It begins with O. Ogeneg or Onigeg or
Ogadai.
Ogadai. He's the one that led the main assault west from the Asian side, right? The threat from the Mongolian Empire. And for a good time, that Mongolian Empire was hurting them on that eastern side where all them stands is, right? So after Vladimir had, I think he had 3 more sons as well. They killed each other. Vladimir died. Vladimir was the one who I think broke it up into, hold on. Vlad dies. He has a son called Yaroslav the Wise, right? Yaroslav, knowing the history of his people, he decides to break up the empire for all his sons, and he left his eldest son to rule in Kiev. his eldest son was, what's his name? His eldest son was called the Grand Prince of Kiev, right? Forget his name. I don't think I wrote it down. Anyway, this is just an overcap from where we went last week, or we're moving on from it, right? His son was ruling, but now they set up a system where they would rotate leaders. So there is like governors or mayors in each of them cities all around, but that Grand Prince stayed in Kiev. And as this going on, there's a lot of politics with the religion, because at that time, religion was heavy into ruling a kingdom. So you have different families. I think one is called the Boyakas or the Boyakas. You could look it up. Different families, almost like the Sadducees and Pharisees, who was originally religious families and seized power due to the politics. They started getting power as well and started now spreading their whatever doctrine for their regime in each of them little small cities. And they ended up overthrowing Novgorod through the people, right? Novgorod rejected their prince, which was one of Yaroslav the Wise sons, and that broke the Kievan Rus into not pieces, but it broke its power, because there was like the first insurrection. They said, we want to rule ourselves. We're going to be separate from the Kievan Rus. Sounds familiar, right? And they separated and pushed more north with the Finnish tribes. So more time passed, more people died. At one time, the Rurik dynasty was damn near done. This was like in the 12th or the 13th century, it was done, because this is since 800 AD, Rurik and his line was ruling. But I think at one point in time, there was no more sons, and there was an impersonator who said he was one of his offspring that went further south and made alliances with them in Bulgaria or somewhere around there, and came back into Russia with more men, eventually taking over Kiev, and started moving further north into an untouched area that was good for trade and business called Muscovy. He took over Muscovy, and that became Moscow. Then he moved the capital of that Kievan Empire, or the Rus Empire, from Kiev to Moscow. And all within those times, this is probably over 500-year period, from around 1000 or 1100 to about 1500. They fight in wars and gaining territory and then losing it. Gaining territory and losing it, gaining territory and losing it. So you have all those wars being fought all the way up. Somebody would break off. At one time, one of their relatives broke off and formed another capital right next to Moscow. I forgot the name of it. You might need to look it up. Right after they founded Moscow. It's from the Muscovy region. It was a capital right there next to it. And whoever was in charge of Moscow at the time had to go to Poland and Sweden, I believe, for help. Now, that would be a theme all the way through this history, where whoever is in charge, because that's a landlocked area, you can't sail away and go get help. You had to make alliances with your neighbors. And that's been the history of these Europeans for, centuries for sure, making alliances, political alliances all the way through, and coming and killing everybody out, and then ruling for a time. It's going to be peace. And then somebody going to rise up and want to take the throne again. You found it yet?
Is it not talking about St. Petersburg? It says Storaya or Ladoga.
I don't know. I don't forget half of them names already. Xalaki. So now we all the way up to the early 20th century, 1900s, right? Okay. Russia is in full swing. Meaning that USSR empire is big. Right. It's huge. It divided what you know as Europe into two, which you would have Russia. I ain't even looking at a map right now. You would have that, you see where everywhere is yellow on that map? Because see if you could pull up something similar to that, the old map with USSR that came all the way down to where Turkey is, but not including Turkey, then started going towards the east, taking up all them stands even further east where it's orange, where it's supposed to be what? That's supposed to be what they over China.
China.
The start of China, right? Even further into that territory, it was very, very big, right? A little bit over. Over towards a little bit over. So all that they was controlling, because at them times they had the Khazarian Empire lower down, the Mongolians coming over. They had a big war on the steppes of Georgia, Russia, or confrontation. One of them confrontations never happened. Where when I say they were supposed to have a war, the army came from Moscow, the Mongolians came, they met at one point, and they made a fucking treaty. Because trade was being impacted. They needed to keep trade going. They made a treaty. Mongol and them went past. Mongol and them could have trashed them, but they allowed them to keep their religion, keep their way of life. I think they was to pay some sort of tribute for a time, and that was it. So that whole Russian Empire don't get big and strong and powerful. So right up on, early 1900s, you have that eastern side that has its own culture, its own politics, its own way of life. And then the western side of that would be what? France, England, Spain, Italy, Turkey, as far south as Turkey, Ireland, Scotland, Sweden, Poland. No, Poland was neutral at that time, Salakia. Poland would have been neutral. It would have been Poland. Poland was part of it, right? Poland, Ukraine, and what's below? Georgia, Russia, right? They were all part of it at that time. Just somebody give me the year when Ukraine fought for their independence. I want to believe it's right close around that time. Right? When was World War II? 1912, 19... No, I think it was before. Somewhere around there, right? Somewhere around like 1902.
Oh, I started 1939.
39. Yeah, what happened in 1912? I think that's when Ukraine asked for independence.
1912 was when Austria-Hungary, Franz Ferdinand was killed. And then that's when Austria-Hungary started fighting. They split and started fighting.
It could be then when Ukraine asked for it. Let's look up Ukraine's independence real quick.
I have the picture of the map with the Ottoman Empire.
That'll look. All right, give me Ukraine's independence.
So, let's say Ukraine officially declared itself an independent country on the 24th of August, 1991.
Okay, before they separated from Russia before. Go ahead.
So I have one here, the Ukrainian War of Independence, 1918.
1918. That's when they had their first war of independence, when they wanted to just fully separate. Right? I believe they got a certain amount of you could say victory right there. Read on. I think they won for a short period of time. Then they went right into World War II. Russia gave them independence for like a year or something, and then came back right after and said, "Come here, nigga. You're back in business with us." Go ahead.
Exactly that. The Ukrainian War of Independence was a series of conflicts involved many adversaries that lasted from 1917 to 1921 and resulted in the establishment and development of a Ukrainian republic, most of which was later absorbed into the Soviet Union as the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic of 1922 to 1991.
Right. So now they pulled them right back in. So now 1991, what happened? Now hold on. World War II, right? After World War II, what happened in Europe?
They split Germany to east and west with the Berlin Wall, and they put sanctions pretty much on Germany and I believe Russia. Like pretty much they were cut off from what you would call pretty much the nations that are known as NATO today. They were cut off, and so I'm trying to remember.
And somebody give me also the origin of NATO. Yeah, give me the original NATO. All these is dates that coincide. Right. All right, go ahead. You were saying, huh?
Oh, so like so after World War II, they split Germany, and then from there, that's when you had the Cold War. from that end of World War II all the way up to the 90s.
Right. So you have after that World War II, you have that Cold War because different regions still held strong political influences. Strong political influences in that region. You still had that